Hello everybody and welcome back to TTTV. This is TTL F1 and this is season number 12, round 16, which takes us to the Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley and, well, if you missed it last time out, you would have missed Ollie's first win at Singapore. So go ahead and watch that one back. It was a good race. Plenty of drama, plenty of action to talk about, and now we head to the next round, the Russian Grand Prix. Also coming up this week is the Japanese Grand Prix. Now, a lot of the drivers aren't really a fan of the Russian Grand Prix, and, well, it is narrow, difficult to overtake as well. The Russian Grand Prix set near the Olympic Park and has hosted a good few races from time to time. A lot of the cars will be going single file. There are a wide variety of mid-range speed corners that require a lot of aero, but then you've also got the technically turn 1 as you head down to the braking zone of turns 2 and 3. Then you've got the long left-hander, I should say, of turn number 4 within the braking zone into turn 5. Turn 5 obviously where Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Raikkonen clashed. Williams versus Ferrari at the time. They clashed at that corner. Harsh words were said to either driver, but we come to the Russian Grand Prix now with a couple of changes to the standings, but no changing at the top though. Blizzard leading the way on 260, Squeezy in second on 168, Lambo in third on 159, Poe is in fourth on 133. Ollie with his win moves up to 121 points. He's in 5th place. Spike in 6th on 86 points. Gore in 7th on 79. Siege in 8th on 61. Maze is in 9th on 56. Alan K is in 10th on 44. Lighty in 11th on 39. Steph is in 12th on 38. Sean in 13th on 35. Josh, Francis and Hamilton all tied together on 25 points, all in 14th place. Then it's 17th Ollie P with 15 points. Dave M in 18th with 12 points plus, and 19th with 9 points. Frank in 20th on 8 points, and Rapid has a page all on his own. He is 21st in the standings with 4 points. Coming on to the constructors standings then, well, Force India lead the way, 304 points with Haas in second on 212. Only a point behind are McLaren on 211. Toro Rosso are in 4th on 175. Red Bull are in 5th on 132. Sauber in 6th on 130. Williams are in 7th on 108. Renault in 8th on 81. Mercedes are in 9th on 68. And Ferrari are in 10th place on 49 points. Russian Grand Prix then, pretty narrow at certain points in the track. There you can see on the screen is the turn 2 and 3 before that long left-hander of turn 4. And there you can see that is towards the end of the lap then, that part of the track. So it'll just scroll between those two. My computer is running really slowly. So, so there's no thumbnail yet, and there's not a lot I can do right now. It's just running so slowly. I don't know why. Everything's working fine. It just doesn't want to play, which is a shame. But let's see if it can do anything now. Oh, has it spluttered into life? I think it has. I think it has. That's all good then. Here we are then, Russian Grand Prix. A lot of clouds in the sky. Not encouraging for the drivers. But as you can see, Blizzard in the lobby. We've got Squeezy there, as well as Lambo. We've got a good amount of drivers tonight. And as you can see in the Mercedes garage, it's only Steph tonight. I wonder if we're going to see Squeezy come out first, because normally it is the way, with Squeezy making his way out onto the track first. As we see someone leaving the pit lane, that is Blizzard, championship leader. And he's got a big points gap to the car behind. And it has been the story of the season. 92 points separates Blizzard from Squeezy. And, well, we have how many rounds left? I think it's 7 or 6. Is it 6 rounds? Yes, it's 6 rounds left. So 25 points up for grabs in each race. Someone do the maths. That's 150 points left to score this season. That's it, 150. Blizzard has a 92 point lead. Well, if we go to the next round, assuming Blizzard wins this race and let's create that scenario that Squeezy doesn't score any points, no one behind scores any points. That 92-point gap will quickly increase to 117 with 125 points left. So we could, if things go Blizzard's way, we could be seeing a championship decider at the next Grand Prix in Japan. But as we said before, anything can happen in Formula 1. Don't count your chickens before they've hatched. It is one of the worst things you could do. Squeezy wasn't quite the first person out on circuit. It was in fact Blizzard. So he is the one we're going to be going on board for a lap around the Russian Grand Prix in the Sochi Autodrome as he makes his way through these 90-degree corners here. Having to go from Singapore, which is again 90-degree corners. We get to the Sector 3 here, which is pretty much the same 90-degree corners throughout, as we make our way now to the final two corners, riding on board with Blizzard then as he negotiates the final two corners. Really important to get that last corner absolutely spot on as we make our way out of turn 18 and making our way down the long start finish straight, if you want to call it a straight, through turn 1 now. Watch out for any carnage that will happen here. Any wheel that goes a little bit loose will cause a massive amount of damage. Heading down towards turn 2, braking at the 100-meter board as we make our way through the left-hander of turn 3 now. And that is the left-hander of turn 3. Just amazing. Keep that steering wheel locked to the left as we head now in towards turn 4. Careful on the curbs here. Very easy to invalidate your lap as we now head towards a right angle corner of turn 5. Braking around about 70 metres before the corner. Carry the car through as we head through the slight kink of 6 into turn 7 now. Using that orange sleeping policeman there to help you turn into the corner. Now we head towards turn 8 and the double left-hander, which turns into turn 9. Then into the braking zone of turn 10. 100-metre board right above that left front wheel there as we head now through turn 11, through the DRS zone. You can see now Blizzard trying to get into the slipstream of the Red Bull up ahead here. Full concentration for this section here as we head through turn 12, which then becomes the braking zone for turn 13. Again, orange sleeping policeman there as we head through turn 14. There's grass on the inside there, so it won't benefit you too much. Here we go then up the hill towards turn 15 and then through 16. And then on the exit of the corner, then making our way down towards the two right angle corners of turn 17 and turn number 18. And Blizzard here looking to try and get the apex absolutely right as he heads towards the line. So 129.2. And that is the benchmark Blizzard has set then. 3 sets of tyres available this weekend are the Hyper Softs, Ultra Softs and the Softs. So we miss out the Super Softs once again, as I believe it's the performance between the Ultra Softs and the Super Softs were deemed too close together. So that's why they've made that gap between them. Ollie then, who got his first win last time round, makes his way through that long turn 3 as we now make our way down towards turn 4. Lambo, he's not had the greatest of seasons, but he's coming around the final quarter now and towards the start finish line. It's a 130.1. But it doesn't count. It was invalidated. Spike then on the soft tyre. Again, a track you have to manage the tyre temperatures, as Alan Kay sets a 133.9 on a set of Ultra Softs. Steph 134.6 on the softs, as Spike goes P2 on a 133.0. That is by no means a representative, but remember that's 3 tyre compounds difference between Blizzard's lap time and Spike's lap time. We've got Ollie, I believe, on a flying lap as he makes his way through turn 14 now. Turn 14, very easy to misread the corner. You can easily carry too much speed through there as we head through 15, then through 16, making our way all the way down towards turns 17 and 18. And what kind of time can Ollie set as he makes his way towards the line then? Race winner last time out, and it's P2 on a set of Ultra Soft tyres with a 130.854. Spike saying probably one of the worst tracks ever to host Formula 1. I'm not so sure about that one. There have been some uneventful Grand Prix elsewhere, but as I was saying, this is some of the drivers not liking this track. Neon Rapper saying, good luck guys, sorry I couldn't be there. Well, that's absolutely fine, Neon. We'll all have a good race. Hope to see you back very, very soon. Maze in the chat saying, dry for both races. As you can see, the track has sort of cleared up. The skies have cleared and there's sun poking through right onto the track. As this is Francis then making his way through turn 12, then towards turn 13 on an outlap right now. Let's see if we can find someone on a flying lap. We've got Poe here, also on an outlap, on the pink Hypersoft tyres, as that was Francis heading his way through. Squeezy then trying to get some heat into the tyres as he makes his way through turn number 17. Now coming around turn 18. And here we go then, across the line. And he will start his flying lap. And Squeezy finished P2. I believe he finished P4 in the championship last season. So to get so close to that championship, you know, he is a driver to watch out for in the seasons to come. He really has developed into a quick driver. He's making less mistakes. And as he flies through turn 3, he is on those Hypersoft tyres, the softest possible compound using at this race. So you've got Poe and Francis pretty much sharing the same bit of track. So here comes Ollie towards the line, and he's going to go for another run. He did sort of, not quite an installation lap, but he did a gap lap to make sure he could get some heat back into the tyres, get those temperatures under control as he geared up for another lap around the track then. And well, it's coming to the part where I advertise the race and saying that qualifying is live. This is the thing I face every Tuesday, doing it on my own. There's no hand it to Andy for the hot lap and make sure everything's running fine. No, none of that. We have to do it the old-fashioned way and just keep going as best we can. But we're riding on board with Squeezer then as he makes his way towards the final few corners through this sort of right angle sector out of turn 16. Now you've got to watch the exit there as we head towards turn 17 and then towards turn 18. There is the Mercedes of Steph right in front of him, but he crosses the line then and it's P2 for Squeezy, 1:29.7. So that's around half a second down on Blizzard, but that's not a bad first attempt then from Squeezy as he's making his way surely back towards the pits then. Variety of tyres being used tonight, and Steph here doing what he normally does on in qualifying, putting some laps in on the hardest compound of tyre as he makes his way now towards turn 4. We've got Francis, Mays, Lambo, Plaster and Siege all in the pit, yet to set a lap time in this session. Short note, 1:33.6, which puts him into P6 on those soft tyres. Be pretty interesting to see then, because normally at Russia the tyre wear is it's not the best. It's not the best track for tyre wear, so you can get away with the Hypersoft tyres for a stint, but obviously it's very easy to overheat them with the amount of mid-speed corners, the amount of aero you have to use at some of these corners. Can make it difficult to keep the tyre temperatures under control, but if you can keep them under control, then you've got a good chance of having a good result then. As Poe is very quickly making his way back to the pit lane, he wants to get back as quickly as he possibly can. Spike out there, coming around the final corner, loses that back end slightly, and actually improves there. 1:32.2 puts him up to P5, improved by about 0.2 of a second there. And if I know Spike, he'll be saying that, well, he lost a couple of tenths here and there. Just seems like Spike's never quite satisfied with his qualifying lap. He's always wanting more. Blizzard then, 1:28.8. And puts 0.9 of a second between himself and Squeezy at the moment. So the first person into the 1:28 is Blizzard. We've got Siege out on track then, in the Williams, making his way through Sector 2 now. And coming towards this double left-hander here. So tempting to carry too much speed into the corner. Very tempting to try and be a little bit greedy and see how much speed you can take through. But the Williams then trying to take full advantage of those ultra soft tyres and try and start on the middle tyre technically for the start of the race. Open up a little bit of strategy. As we come towards the final part of the track then, as we're heading out of turn 14, coming towards 15 and 16, the pit lane entry. Now the pit lane entry has caused a little bit of controversy over the years, especially on the games, because, well, the pit entry is on that right hand side there, and you've got the curbs, and it comes very close to rejoining the track. Now if you're not careful, you can actually pick up a penalty, whether it be it stop go or a track limit penalty. That could be 5 or 10 seconds. And that is very annoying, because it's happened to me once coming into the pit lane, overcooked it, kind of went straight on, but came back across the track to try and go into the pit lane. But obviously the stewards in virtual race control think you've extended the track, or you've left the track at this time, you've rejoined at this time. It means you've gained an advantage whether you rejoin the track fully or not, so it gives you that penalty, which can be very, very annoying. So we've got to watch out for that during the race then. Siege on a lap as he heads through turn 5, now coming towards turn 6 and then through turn 7. As you can see there, Siege on the ultra soft tyres. Still looks like he's trying to get some heat into the tyres on this lap then, as he makes his way towards turn 10 now. I believe this is turn 10. Yes, because we've got turn 11 here in the DRS zone. And now making their way down towards turn 12. 12 and 13 sort of combined together. It's a very tricky braking zone if you get it wrong. There's plenty of runoff area in front of you. Kind of expect that during the race. And we'll see how it all goes. Here we go then with Siege coming through 15 and then through turn 16 as he makes his way around the track. Coming towards 17, but no, he decides to come into the pit lane. And got to be careful with the wheels there. Mays retires from the session. And meanwhile, we had Poe lapping on the Ultra Softs, 130.022. Ollie 130. We've got Spike there who's come back out on a set of Ultra Soft tyres. If we have a look at the best tyre, so this is the lap time, or their best lap time set on a certain tyre. As you can see there, Poe very close to those white lines, almost crossing over. And in fact, it looked like he went a little bit too far on that last one. He has invalidated his lap time here. He's now. And 3 drivers put on, set them on the soft tyres, but of course it is the very start of the session, so that is to be expected as Sean makes his way towards turn number 5 then. The Williamses of Sean and Siege then have made a good team. They'll want even more as they head towards the latter stages of the season. And Sean on his outlap trying to get some heat into the tyres. Alan Kay then, well, was speaking to us on Thursday. Sorry, no, on Tuesday, because he was building up to the Singapore Grand Prix. And he was saying how he can keep the Hypersofts in check. He's really good at those, and he mentioned Plaster was good at that as well. As Ollie takes out the camera bollard, that's one less of them then. Can't get at that angle then. Oh well, never mind. But yes, Alan Kay was talking about how he can keep hyper control and at a good temperature, and he can make them last longer than others. And that's going to be quite crucial, especially at Russia. There's a lot of mid-range corners, not very many opportunities where you can sort of cool the tyres down. And that is going to be something that really catches drivers out, is the fact that they can't really cool those tyres down. But we shall see what happens, and I'm sure we're in for a good one here at the Russian Grand Prix. It is going to be that turn 1. Turn 1 is going to be a huge event. You'll be grabbing the popcorn and seeing who makes it through there. It's infamous for incidents. It's happened to me before. I know exactly how to take that corner, and the trick is, well, you either want to be on pole position and get through, or you want to just slow down and let everything unfold in front of you. It's a really awkward corner for turn number 1. And as Ollie makes his way around the final 2 corners then. And as we build up to next season, as Ollie is now onto a flying lap, there's going to be in-season testing for real F1, by the way. 3 colours and 5 compounds. Are you wondering how that works? Well, obviously the 3 colours, white and yellow, as Ollie goes straight on. Clearly not happy with something on the car. We're riding on board with Sean then. So 3 colours. You've got the reds, the yellows and the whites. But you've got 5 compounds. So C1 and 2 are the harder tyres. But C1 is the hard S tyre, and it has no brackets. So as you can see on the tyre, there's a line between Pirelli and P0, which will be at the top and the bottom of the tyre. There's no line connecting the two. And you just think, well, no brackets. At a high speed, you're not going to be able to tell what tyres they're on. But That's been a complaint with a lot of the fans and the spectators, but the point of pre-season testing is to give away as little information as possible to the other teams. You see every single team has those massive screens. They've got loads of people surrounding the car, making sure that no one sees any of the technology on the cars. That's the whole reason why over some seasons Red Bull have got that different livery, so that all the parts blend in. There's no chance of any team trying to seal that exclusive data and those parts that they need to, well, conceal until race day. So I think with the tyres, I don't think it's a huge concern. I'm not going to be too worried about it. So, but we'll see. Obviously, here we have Squeezy on a flying lap then as he makes his way through turn 1 there, and now coming down towards turn 2. Pretty odd to have the first major braking zone on the track to be turn 2. Catches a lot of people out, but Squeezy now heading through turn 3. He's got a bit of time to find between himself and Blizzard then as he heads through turn 4. And now coming towards turn 5. There were yellow flags up ahead. That's just drivers trying to pull out of the way. We've got 43 seconds to go in this session. You can see here Squeezy now going through turn 6 and heading towards turn 7. Steph is the yellow flags because he's trying to let Squeezy through. And here we go then, double left-hander of turn 8 and turn 9. Has he kept it within track limits? I think he has. As he goes through turn 10, then loosen that back end just a little bit, trying to carry as much speed as possible through there, through the DRS zone and through turn 11, as we now make our way through towards turn 12. Prepping yourself for this one, you have to turn left and then brake as soon as you possibly can in towards turn 13. Then the left of turn 14, try and carry too much speed through there, and you're going to see the worst of it coming through 15 and 16 now as we make our way towards the line. The checkered flag is out then as we make our way on board with Squeezy through 17 and now coming towards turn 18. What can he do then? Pose across the line. He can't improve. How about Squeezy? He improves by 4/10, but the lap was invalidated, so it's not going to count. We've got Ollie out there on a lap and Blizzard's right behind him, taking full advantage of the slipstream then as Ollie pulls to one side. Francis retires from the session without setting a lap time. That's both Renaults not setting a lap time. We've got Lambo here making his way through the final couple of corners, heading towards 17 and 18 now. He hasn't set a lap time just yet as Steph retires from the session. He'll get no higher than 8th. Here comes Lambo then around the final corner. What can he do? It's P3 for Lambo. 1:29.8 as Blizzard, well, he pulls out of the lap time then. We've got Sean on a lap time as well as Alan Kay. And we'll have to see how Alan Kay is getting on as Sean makes his way towards the line. The final 2 corners. And he's got no ERS to deploy. He's used it all as he makes his way around the final 2 corners. What's it going to be for Sean? He jumps Siege. Sean out-qualifies his teammate there. And here's Alan Kay then making his way around the final 2 corners now. Round the final corner towards the line. And he stays P10. He improves by 3/10. But it's not enough to get him higher up the field. So then, with all the cars either crossing the checkered flag or pitting in, pole position for the Russian Grand Prix goes to Blizzard. Well, he'll be happy with that. And there's a big margin between himself and Squeezy behind him. 9/10 of a second. Now, of course, Squeezy backed out of his last lap, or had to rather, because of course he invalidated it. But there it is then. 1:28.8 from Blizzard. Puts him on pole position with Squeezy in second, Lambo in third, exactly 1 second behind Blizzard. Poe is in fourth, Ollie in fifth, Spike in sixth, Sean in seventh. We've got Siege in eighth, Steph in ninth, Alan Kay in 10th with Plaster in 11th, and Francis and Mays did not set a lap time during that session. Interestingly, top 4 qualified on the Hypersoft tyres. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th on the Ultrasofts, with Alan Kay qualifying on the Hypersoft tyres. So half of the top 10 starting on the Hypersofts, the other half starting on the Ultrasofts. It'll be interesting to see how many drivers will go onto the soft tyres outside of the top 10. You've got Mays, Francis and I believe Plaster, who qualified in P11. So they've got free range of tyres, of course. And it'll be interesting to see what they can do then. So here we are then for the Russian Grand Prix, as I'm trying to write a tweet at the same time. Who do you reckon is going to win tonight? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you're tuning into the stream. You can give me random facts if you really want to, maybe about the Russian Grand Prix. Of course, keep it clean. I might mention you on the air, who knows. But we're getting prepared now for round number 16 into the closing stages of this season. It's been a competitive season as we make our way down to the grid. So off they go then on their formation lap. So Blizzard then will be leading the field through turn 1 and then through turn 2, and luckily in that time I went a bit silent because of course I was posting the tweet. What else would I be doing? The Russian Grand Prix then, 18 corners around the Sochi Autodrome Park with 2 DRS zones. The first DRS zone is just after turn 1 as you head down towards turn 2. The second DRS zone is after turn 10 around that curved straight, almost Imola-esque, as you head down towards turns 12 and 13. So those are your 2 DRS zones for the Russian Grand Prix, with the detection point for zone 1 being before turn 1 and the detection zone for turn 2, or the zone 2 I should say, being just before turn 10. Well, 5.8 kilometres, with the first Grand Prix being held, well, officially back in 2014, but the Russian Grand Prix has heritage. First Grand Prix was back in 1914, almost 100 years before the modern Russian Grand Prix was held. And interestingly, in real life, the Russian Grand Prix has only ever been won by Mercedes. But I'm gonna say that could be a different story. Maybe it might be the Mercedes power of the Force India of Blizzard as he makes his way down towards turn 12. This is the second DRS zone you're watching here. Well, let's have a look at the tyres then. Nobody's gone on to the soft tyres then, so Plaster will be starting on a fresh set of hyper soft tyres. Francis and Mays both starting on a fresh set of ultra soft tyres. But these hyper softs can last a lot longer than they did in Singapore, but not too much longer. 27 laps with a race distance of around about 155 kilometres. As we make our way around the final couple of corners then. Is there pressure for Blizzard, I wonder? What's he feeling in the cockpit as the AI takes over and we make our way back around? The lap record, and the race lap record, is 135.861 set by Valtteri Bottas in the 2018 season. I wonder who is going to be able to beat that. We were 7 seconds faster than that in qualifying. But round 16 of TTL, brought to you by weakwifi-solutions.com, who are sponsoring the Driver of the Day award, and also brought to you by A Logo, who are also sponsoring the fastest lap award for the Russian Grand Prix. We're almost ready to go here for round number 16 here at the Russian Grand Prix. 5 red lights coming on now. Round 16 is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like it's a good start from Blizzard. Not quite so from Squeezy. He's going to find himself under pressure from Lambo then as we head through turn 1 now. Has everybody made it through? Yes, they have. We're now coming down towards turn 2. Watch out for that Renault on the left-hand side of your screen. That's Francis, who's trying to make a move up the inside there. He's now up to P10 as they make their way through turn 2 now. Coming around the long left-hander of turn number 3. We've got action behind us. Poe, Spike, Ollie and Sean all fighting over that third place position. We've got a Red Bull going off the track there. That's Ollie. He's misjudged his braking point. Little bit of action there as, oh, that's Steph and Ollie coming together. Ollie caught the rear tyre there, and I think, is that a puncture? No, it's not. He got away with that one, but it is front wing damage to Ollie, and he finds himself now at the back of the grid then, coming together with Steph there. Caught his rear tyre and sent both of them into the wall. I wonder if Steph has got any damage. Francis then, meanwhile, has moved up to 7th place as Steph is now dropping down the field. He has got front wing damage on the left-hand side, so we could be seeing Sean and Ollie, Steph and Ollie, I should say, into the pits then. Blizzard now coming through turn number 13 for the first time, and through turn 14. A lot of pressure from the cars behind. Squeezy and Lambo managed to stay behind. Also, Poe is in the action there. Spike on the Ultra Softs is starting to drop back, but that's to be expected because, of course, he's on a separate tyre and what is theoretically a slower tyre as he comes very close to the wall there on the exit of turn 16. But as we head through turn 17 and turn 18, Blizzard completes the first lap in the lead. Squeezy is second, Lambo third, Poe in fourth, Spike fifth, Sean in sixth, Francis in seventh, with Siege in eighth, Plaster ninth. Good start from him. Mace is in 10th, Alan K 11th, with Steph and Ollie in the pits 12th and 13th. As Blizzard heads down towards turn 2, Lambo is going to try and put some pressure on Squeezy here. He's had 2 race wins defends Lambo this season, and it's not quite gone to plan in races he hasn't won. But now Sean and Francis now battling away now as we head now through turn 3, now coming towards turn 4. Francis trying to go up the inside in towards turn 4, locks a brake a little bit, and Sean has a chance here to attack as we head towards turn 5. Was there a little bit of contact there as Francis is desperately trying to defend? He runs wide then, and coming back onto the track then. A little bit of contact there. Rein it in a little bit, guys, as we head through turn 7, and Sean doing his best here to try and defend the inside line for turn 8 and turn 9, and Francis goes all the way around the outside, but he actually gets the position then as we head through turn 10. We've got yellow flags out, and I wonder who that is. That's Steph and Ollie. Steph is lost the car there, and I wonder if he's been in the wall again. He's probably been in the walls again. I'm not entirely sure, but you can see here Sean is now all over Francis then as we head in towards... Oh, Francis is locked up. I said that was an action zone as Ollie retires from the session then. So that is that's a huge shame for Ollie then. Winner last time out, but retiring at this one. But Francis then, as I said, locks up going in towards turn 13. It's very easy to get that braking zone all wrong. And that is exactly what happened to Francis. Hasn't seemed to click for him this season. Lambo then under the cosh of Squeezy then as he makes his way towards the outside, going through turn 2. And Squeezy then has to give him the room, and he does. But there's the Haas then of Poe, who's also trying to go up the inside. He's trying to follow Lambo's path, but Squeezy's holding it around the outside of turn 3 as we head towards turn 4. Squeezy's got the inside line. Lambo, there's a little bit of contact between them as Lambo then speeds away as we head down towards turn 5 now. Squeezy's trying to hold the inside line as Lambo's trying to attack here around the outside. We head through turn 6 and Squeezy's just about held onto the position. And now that's Poe up the inside of Lambo then. Lambo may be caught napping as we head towards turn 8 and turn 9, but again Lambo's able to hold the position. He has to attack and defend, which is such a difficult task to do as we head towards turn 10. DRS of course is now enabled, so Poe will be able to have a little bit of DRS. Lambo has that DRS from Squeezy to do a little bit of defending here, but as we head through turn 12 and through turn 13, as Lambo then, has he got the braking zone right? Yes, he has, even under pressure from Poe. Maybe running a little bit deep on the entry, which is going to cost him a little bit on the exit, but he has got the position then as Ollie left the session. Such a shame here. But you can see there's Spike now coming through the picture. 3.1 seconds is the gap then between himself and Poe, and he'll want these second, third and fourth drivers to be battling away because it allows him to keep that gap then. But Blizzard 2.5 in the lead then as he makes his way on to lap number 4. Squeezy is in second place, Lambo in third with Poe in fourth. Watch out though for these three, they could be battling for quite a while to come. So expecting cars in from lap sort of 6 onwards really. Lap 6 to sort of lap 8 would be a good time to come in on the Hypersofts. On the Ultrasofts, it's not much longer on the Ultrasofts actually, lap 9 and lap 10. And then you can put the soft tyres on, whichever one you choose, to get to the end. Obviously with the Hypersofts you have to do a bit of tyre management. We've got Alan Kay and Plaster battling away from position here, but you can see Alan Kay's short shifting, obviously trying to save a little bit of fuel. Maybe he's underfueled the car, wants to save a little fuel for later on. Plaster runs wide though on the exit of turn 4 as we head towards turn 5, and you can see Alan Kay is putting Plaster under that little bit of pressure, but he runs a little bit wide on the exit of turn 5 as they head towards turn 6 and then through turn number 7. The double left-hander of 8 and 9 coming up. We've got to keep an eye on loads of battles here as Squeezy still leading this battle here for second place. Lambo and Poe right behind him then as we make our way through turn 14, making our way now towards turn 15. And that is a good battle developing here for second place as the Toro Rosso right on the gearbox of Squeezy. Squeezy losing that back end, and that's race leader Blizzard into the pits on lap number 4. So he's pitting early now and making sure he can make those tyres last. Meanwhile, Siege then is still trying to defend, but Siege is attacking. It's Sean trying to defend, and Siege has got up the inside of Francis, and he's got the position as we make our way through turn 18, and that is the Renault of Francis trying to battle away. So Blizzard in the pits. Remember, it's a long pit lane to get yourself up to speed going through turn 1. Where does Blizzard rejoin? He doesn't rejoin in front of this battle then. But Francis has got ahead of Siege with the DRS then and makes the move stick as we head through turn 2. Meanwhile, Poe has got ahead here. This is now a battle for the lead. But of course, the more they battle now, the more this is going to help Blizzard in the long run. As we head through turn 5 now, you can just see Spike in the distance there. 3.1 is the gap. And obviously these three, I should say, battling away for position. Very close on track there. Here comes Alan Kay up the inside, going through turn 4. And he's got the move done. Up to 9th place he goes. There's Blizzard in the background. He'll have to go through this battle between Alan Kay and Plaster. That is not going to be easy. Both drivers won't make it too difficult for Blizzard. But it's the act of getting past them. They're both very conservative on their tyres. They know how to keep them in shape. And they will be difficult to pass, especially around the Russian Grand Prix. So it is Squeezy leading from Poe and Lambo. Spike is 2.9 behind this battle now. And Squeezy making his way towards turn 15 and 16. As Sean and Francis still battling away for position then. As they're side by side on the exit of turn 14. Sean runs a little bit wide and Francis gets P5. As he makes his way through 15 and 16 now. That is a good battle between Francis and Sean, but Francis runs a little bit wide, spins up the rear tyres a little bit, and Sean is on him now as we head lap 6 of this Grand Prix. So Blizzard then pitting a little bit earlier than I expected, to be honest with you. But if he can make those tyres last, he'll have done those simulations and they'll have worked out. So that's what he's going for. Squeezy having to defend from Poe here. As Poe looking around the outside as we make our way now down towards turn 4 as Blizzard finds a way past Placer then into 10th place he goes. That little bit of traffic will be helping these three as Placer picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. So you've got the two Williamses. Williamses? Is that the plural? The two Williams cars. That'll do. Are battling away for 6th place, but I'm not sure they're going to be battling for too much longer. I wonder if team orders is going to take place here. I think Sean will be sort of inviting Siege to have a little bit of a battle here. Sean out qualifying Siege. In fact, the positions they're in now is the exact positions they did qualify in. So they did lose a position at the start then, and that was to Francis, who finds himself, by the way, in 5th place. He did not set a time in qualifying, had to start all the way at the back of the grid, but that's not troubled him. He's up to P5. Still a long way to go, though, as Squeezy makes his way through turn 16. And who blinks here? Do any of the top 3 right now pit in? No, they don't. And here's the thing, though. Spike is closing in on this battle. He's now 2.4 behind Lambo. So the 3 of them here have got to make a decision. Do they battle each other? Do they help each other? As you can see there, Spike taking a much different line here, as he just drifted to the right-hand side. Now Blizzard is up to 9th then. As you can see then, like I said, Alan Kay wasn't going to put up too much of a battle, but you can see Blizzard gets a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to count against him towards the end of this race. Siege then making a move on Sean, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was team orders, and Sean just sort of led him through. But Siege is now through and up to 6th place. Squeezy is your leader on lap number 7. 21 laps to go. And Blizzard is the only one to have made a scheduled pit stop as we fly through turn 7 now, heading towards the double left-handers of 8 and 9. Making their way through, and Francis now picks up a 3-second time penalty. So these time penalties are going to add up, and they will have a profound effect on the race results. Here's Poe then, riding on board with him as we head through the DRS zone. He's got that slipstream, of course. Squeezy hasn't got anything to defend with, apart from the ERS and the fuel mix. Here comes Poe then. Which way does he go? No, he backs out of it. Squeezy planting his car in the middle of the road and saying to Poe, well, you can go one way or the other. Either way, you haven't got a lot of room. So Poe has to back out of the move and decides not to take the risk. But this early on in the race, you can see it's taken a wider line through turn 16 to try and optimise the exit. Did any of the top 3 come in? No, they don't. They stay out. So they're not willing to make an undercut happen. I wonder if Blizzard here, on the soft tyres, has sort of played his cards. Because, of course, he's on the soft tyres. We know that the tyres take a little while to warm up, especially the hardest compound. You can see Poe there having a look. He's going to go around the outside, going into turn 2. And Squeezy slams the door shut. And that allows Lambo to close the gap. That also allows Spike to close the gap as well. And they head through turn 3 now, heading towards turn 4. Poe thought about a move up the inside, but look how close Lambo is once again. These two battling has drawn him in. There is Spike in the distance then, in the Sauber. As we see Squeezy, Poe and Lambo battling away here for the lead of the race. Of course, Blizzard made that scheduled stop as Lambo using that sleeping policeman on the inside of turn 7. Can't use it too often though. You do run the risk of those time penalties added on at the end of your race then. Well, they've done well. They've done well to make these Hypersofts last at the moment, because of course these Hypersofts have been through one heat cycle. For example, Plaster's tyres haven't, as they head through turn 30 and then through 14, as we see Blizzard there making a move on Maze. And again, Maze is one of those drivers, if he's not on the same strategy as you, he's not going to battle you. He sees no point in it. There's no point losing time. There's Poe here, and that is Lambo. Does he think about it? He thought about it, wanted to try and dive into the pits, but decided against it. And I wonder now if these three are just trying to make these tyres last as long as they possibly can. As of course they got Spike behind them, 2.9 behind. They fly through turn 1 there as they're making their way down towards turn 2. You can see Poe here trying to use the inside line and trying to switch back here. Just trying to say to Squeezy, well, if you're going to put your car in the middle of the road, here's all the lines I can use. Is he going to try and go around the outside of turn 3? Hasn't quite got the momentum there, but it was a nice idea as we head towards turn 4. Can't quite make the move happen. Maybe on the exit of turn 4 you can see Squeezy there getting away from Poe. Marginal. It really is. Off screen, Blizzard's made away past Sean then. Blizzard now up to 7th place as Poe makes his way through turn 7 right on the tail of Squeezy. And you could just hear the engine of Spike before it cut away from that camera angle. But Sean here is falling into the clutches of Maze right now. Battle for 8th place going on here. Of course, both of them haven't stopped yet. Both of them on the Ultrasoft tyres. But Maze started on fresh Ultrasofts. Sean has started on his qualifying set. So there's probably 2 laps difference between those tyres, rather than what's displayed on the screen. And Squeezy here making his way now towards turn 15 and 16. Still leading the way. As Lambo gets a little bit tail happy there. As you can see, Squeezy's moving across. And yes, he is coming in. And do all 3 of them come in? Yes, they do. So they're all into the pits now. And it's very easy to get the pit entry wrong as well. And it is a long, long pit lane. So Spike then inherits the lead and starts lap number 10 in the lead. Francis, a 3-second time penalty for him. He's now up to 6 seconds of penalties. If I can keep up with it, I'll keep you up to date. We have Maze here making his way through the final corner. He's got the way past Sean. And is now up to 5th place, what will be, because you've got the top 3 that came in then. But Blizzard now finds itself up to P4 and a long, long way ahead of Squeezy, Poe and Lambo. Quite a margin between them now. We're jumping on board with Squeezy then. Let's see what the gap is. It's at least 8-second gap between themselves and Blizzard now. And when Blizzard came in, it was around about 2.5 seconds. So, I don't know. They've put on Ultrasoft tyres, though. They've put on the Ultrasofts. What, are they expecting a 2-stop then? Now, here comes Lambo up the inside of Alan Kay. And he wants to get that move done then. And has he got the move done as we make our way through turn 6? He's still on the inside through turn 7. And Alan Kay backs out of the move. In fact, Lambo there runs a little bit off the track. Trying to keep that car under control. Trying to push the boundaries there. And he's lost a lot of time to Squeezy and Poe. I wonder then, they're going to go to the end on those Ultrasofts, aren't they? They want to go to the end of those Ultrasofts. Because the worst thing they could do now is a 2-stop, being so far behind Blizzard then. Here's Siege right on the back of Francis then. Francis did lose that back end very slightly. And we make our way through turn 16, coming towards 17 and 18. Look who's joined the party. Blizzard there. Trying to make his way through. Squeezy has managed to find a way past Sean then, as Poe wants to do the same. And Poe making his way now down towards turn 17, has got the move done and makes his way up to P6. And Siege now side by side with Blizzard. And we're making our way now down as Francis cuts off Blizzard as we make our way down towards turn 2. And the 2 of them are off the track. Francis wanting to defend as hard as he possibly can. And now heading through turn 3. Blizzard has the inside line. He's got fresher tyres. Has he made the move stick? Yes, he has. Oh, Francis lost the back end. Can he keep it out of the wall? Yes, he can. Scary, scary moment for the Renault driver. as he's now stranded in the track and now just waiting for the opportunity to spin the car around. That is a nightmare for Francis then, but he makes his way back onto the track and just losing that back end then. Just didn't want to stick at all. But now Lambo is under pressure from Sean, as that is Mays being passed by Squeezy. It's all the pass there of Poe making contact, and I wonder if that's damage to the front wing now. He'll be very lucky to get away with no damage whatsoever, and I doubt Mays will be too happy with that contact then. But they're making their way now through turn 12 as we head our way down towards turn 13. And Poe, does he have the move done? Yes, he does. And up to 5th place he goes. Bit more dramatic than he would have liked, but he's got the move done. Well, Lambo here now has got to try and get past Mays, and that won't be an easy task. Making our way through turn 16, now coming down towards 17 and 18. Lambo thought about the move and again taps the rear of the Renault as Francis has retired from the session. And let's see what's happened to him. Has he lost the back end? Has he hit the wall? It was quite difficult to tell from that angle. We're just going to run on board with Plaster and see what happened. I can't quite tell. That seems like a really odd place to stop the car, even if you do retire from the menu. So Lambo then making his way past Mays then, using the DRS. A little bit of tap there. We've got Sean in the pit lane then. Alan Kay running in 9th place at the moment as he makes his way around turn number 18. And obviously he has just pitted. Yellow flags in sector 3. And who is that, I wonder? Not too sure. But they're gone now, so it must have been someone just going off the track momentarily. So Spike then leads on lap number 12, going through turn 12. And making his way now through towards turn 13 and that heavy braking zone. Locking up the tyres just a tad. With Spike here then, I wonder if he's going to go onto some soft tyres or will he go onto a set of ultras? Because obviously the data I had for the ultra softs are completely wrong. As he goes for another lap on those tyres. Blizzard then to go onto the soft tyres. There's a big call. And there is Squeezy, and that was Poe then. I wonder, did he keep... Yes, he did keep control of the car. Looked a little bit wayward then, the line he was taken through there, but he kept control of the car. Poe then making his way around the final corner as Squeezy sets the fastest lap of the race then. And it's quickly ousted by Poe then, 1:33.395. Fastest lap of the race by Poe. We've got a battle here between Sean and Plaster. Both on relatively fresh tyres. Battle for P9 going on there. Sean on the soft tyres, Plaster on the ultra softs. But there you can see Spike in the lead of this race. Blizzard 8.1 behind. So I'm looking up the season statistics, and Spike has not won a race this season, but he has led a few laps before this season, so it's just trying to get that strategy right. And obviously they will be on some faster tyres towards the end of the race. Here comes Squeezy then, really closing in on Siege then, as we head now through turn number 10, making our way now in the slipstream with the DRS, and this should be a relatively easy move. Siege, who hasn't stopped yet in that Williams, and there you go, Squeezy makes the move up to P3. He goes through turn 12 and into the braking zone of turn 13, now up to 3rd place. So Spike then making his way around the final 2 corners, and he will start lap 14, and we are now at half race distance. Lap 14 of the Russian Grand Prix. Spike is leading from Blizzard, Squeezy, Siege, Poe, Lambo, Mays, Alan Kay, Sean, Plaster and Steph. 2 retirements, Francis and Ollie. You've got a good battle here between Poe and Siege then, so making our way towards turn 1. Poe has the inside line, he will now have the DRS. And there's not a lot Siege can do to defend that one, as the Haas makes the move, and we go down into turn 2. Poe up to 4th place now, and Siege on those worn ultra soft tyres, maybe starting to struggle a little bit out there. Well, Spike is leading the way, and Blizzard is closing in on him. It's not quite the gap that he wanted. He didn't want to see that figure come down. It was at 10 seconds, remember. Now it's 5.7. But as Spike makes his way now through turn 10 and towards the DRS zone. Of course, he can't use the DRS, but there we go. Lambo now has got to try and find a way past Siege. Siege making a little bit of a mistake then on the exit of turn 9, and it's allowed Siege, it's allowed Lambo, I should say, to catch up. Now in the DRS zone, heading now through turn 11, now down towards turn 12, as we head straight into sector 3. And here we go then, Lambo up the inside. Has he got the braking zone right? Runs a little bit off the track then. He has the inside line for turn 14, and he manages to hold on. Braking a little bit too late there now, braked himself, but Lambo is up to 5th place, and Siege now down to 6th place. But of course, he is yet to stop in this race. His teammate has already stopped and put on a set of soft tyres to go to the end of the race. There is Blizzard in the distance, you can see. Spike's gap to him, 3.5 seconds. Siege still trying to close in on Lambo. He did have DRS down that straight then, but it wasn't quite enough to try and close the gap. And you can see then, sort of battle between Squeezy, Poe and Lambo we had. It's all separated, spread out now. 2.2 separating Squeezy and Poe, 2.3 separating Poe and Lambo, which, if you're good at the maths there, 2.6 separates Squeezy from Lambo. But it has something to do with counting, so I'm instantly terrible at it. Lap 15 of the Russian Grand Prix. Riding on board with Spike then. He does say he wants a little bit more coverage. There's a little joke we have. So this is his coverage now, leading the race on lap number 15. Steph getting himself a 3-second time penalty as he's come into the pit lane. So that's what I was talking about. The pit lane entrance there is really difficult to get absolutely spot on. And Squeezy is closing in fast on Blizzard. He's now 1.3 behind, and of course on those ultra soft tyres. I wonder if he's going to try and make them go to the end. Blizzard then picks up a 3-second time penalty, and those are going to be the saving grace as Spike now into the pits. He's done 14 laps on those tyres. So 14 laps on those tyres. It's doable then for these guys. Well, they had to pit on lap 14, and that's a Mercedes then of Steph, who's just emerged from the pit lane and gets a load of blue flags on the exit. So if the tyres now up board with Squeezy are 6 laps old, that means he pitted on lap 10. That means he has to do 18 laps on those tyres. But remember, Spike... Oh, clicked the wrong button there. But remember, Spike, I believe, started on his ultra soft tyres. So that's going to be sort of two, maybe 3 laps. So it could be possible. We could be seeing the ultra softs taking a good stead here. And Squeezy has got to keep those tyres in check then. As we turns 8 and 9 then. For some reason the blue flags are on. I think therefore Steph behind them. You can see now Squeezy in the DRS zone with Blizzard. And he will be in that slipstream at any point now. I think Blizzard at this point is hoping for some sort of safety car to help bunch up the pack and get him on some different tyres. But you can see the closing speed of Squeezy then. He knows he wants to keep this championship battle alive. The only way he can really do that is by finishing in front of Blizzard. He knows that. He goes for the inside line going into turn 16. But he didn't quite find it there. And on the exit, look how close he is. Look how much pressure he's piling on in towards 17 now. And then through turn 18. And you can see Blizzard here trying to slow up onto the apex, trying to park the car on the apex so that he can get the better exit than Squeezy. But that's not going to make a lot of difference because here comes Squeezy in the DRS zone. And with the slipstream, puts the ERS mode up to 4. Blizzard goes right. Squeezy goes left. He's going to be on the outside for turn 2, but he's going to have the inside line for turn 3. And Blizzard there, not going to give him an inch of room. But Squeezy finds the inside line for turn 3 as Blizzard tries to go round the outside. He will have the inside line for turn 4 if he can keep the car there, and he will keep the car there as Squeezy turns in. There's a little bit of contact on the exit there, and Squeezy just about holding on to the lead by a nose width, but now Blizzard back in front as we head through turn 5. And again, Blizzard is not willing to give Squeezy any room out there as we head through turn 6. Now coming towards turn 7. Blizzard holds on to the lead. He knows that these tyres are not going to keep Squeezy behind forever. The longer he can keep Squeezy behind, the better. And he knows that. He can take much more out of the tyres than Squeezy can to try and defend. But we're heading through to the DRS zone once again. Squeezy riding on board with him as we make our way into the slipstream again. Here we go towards turn 12 and then through turn 13. Squeezy has the better tyres. Has he got the racing line? He'll have the inside line for turn 14 then. Blizzard will try the cutback. He might have the inside line for turn 15. He will have the inside line for turn 15. Squeezy gives him the room, but he'll have the inside line for turn 16. And has Squeezy just made a move for the lead? Well, he's got to hold on to it now as we head now down towards turn 17. As Blizzard still trying to find a way through, but Squeezy holding on to that position. All the while, Poe has been closing up on this battle. That's also Steph there, who is a lap down on the Hypersofts. And there was Lambo going through your picture there as well. But here comes Blizzard with the DRS. Squeezy there, pulling to the right, trying to defend as hard as he possibly can. And again, as they head down towards turn 2, Blizzard has the inside line, but again, he's not going to give Squeezy room at all on the exit of turn 2 there. And he's got the position, held the lead. And that is allowing Poe and Lambo to catch this pack. As you can see, Squeezy right on the rear wing of Blizzard. You've also got Steph there as well, ready to unlap himself, as that's Blizzard trying to move up the inside of turn 5. Didn't quite happen. Now going through turn 6 towards turn 7 here. Squeezy looking for the move. Really trying to find a way past. Will he find it through turns 8 and 9? He'll try it. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Hooks together, but there is Poe. A little bit of contact again. Keep it together. Keep it calm, guys. As Blizzard again runs wide, and that's Poe slipping through. Steph as well is also involved in this. But he's a lap down, remember. And out of nowhere, Poe's just taken the lead of the race. Incredible stuff. Blizzard wasn't watching. He wasn't careful. He's given away the lead to Poe, battling away with Squeezy, and now he's down to 3rd place. And behind him there is Lambo. As Steph gets well out of the way to try and let Lambo through, and he has done. But Blizzard here has shot himself in the foot by trying to defend as hard as he possibly could from Squeezy. He's allowed Poe to take a free position here. Incredible stuff. Well, Poe's only had, he's had 2 race wins this season, at Azerbaijan and at Germany. And what a time to make it 3. He's got the race lead. Blizzard then, now under pressure from Lambo. Lambo has that DRS, but there you go then. Poe leading the way on lap 19 of the Russian Grand Prix. Squeezy in 2nd, Blizzard 3rd, Lambo in 4th, Spike in 5th, Siege is in 6th place with Alan K in 7th, Maze in 8th, Shaw 9th, Plaster in 10th, and Steph running in 11th place. Well, Spike came into the pits and put on a set of Hypersoft tyres. That should get him to the end of the race. He'll have to manage his tyres towards the end of that stint, though. Now, I wonder what's going to happen now, because Blizzard on the soft tyres might come back into this at the latter part of the stint. Because, of course, his tyres may not be performing right now, but towards the end of the stint, when Poe, Squeezy and Lambo, their tyres are starting to age and go off the cliff, it will bring Blizzard back into the race. But here comes Squeezy then to the left-hand side of Poe as they head through turn 12. And Squeezy then takes the lead of the Russian Grand Prix then as they make their way through turn 14 for the 19th time this race. Squeezy taking the race lead. And Squeezy then, well, as far as I can see it, Squeezy won the opening round at the Australian Grand Prix and hasn't won a race since. Well, he's making his way around the final corner. We have 8 laps to go. 8 laps to hold on for Squeezy. And Poe will be pushing him all the way. Blizzard as well has not let those two get away either. He's still in the DRS zone. Still has a chance of taking the race win. But he's got those time penalties against him. And that is going to cost him. Squeezy then picking up a 3-second time penalty. We've got to keep an eye on those penalties. They can and will change the final standings of the race. But as we see them now coming down towards turn 4, there's a move for 7th place happening. And it's Maze around the outside of Alan K, which will put them in the inside for turn 16. And that is Maze on the Hypersoft tyres against Alan K on the Ultrasofts. Maze is now up to 7th place. Back on board with the leaders then. Squeezy able to hold on right now. And he's got 7.5 laps to hold on and keep his concentration. Lambo then is 1.1 behind. So he's not being able to sort of rope in the competition as much as he'd like. And he hasn't got DRS either. So whilst these three do have DRS and they're battling away, Lambo doesn't have the DRS. and is not battling away, so it's sort of cancelling each other out. What he needs is the DRS. That's going to bring him into the battle. Just pop the fuel mix maybe up a touch, and maybe try and close on this gap, because right now it's not happening. There's another thing he could do though, is let Steph through for one turn, give him the DRS, which in the long run would buy him a couple of tenths. It's not practical, but it might work. Lap 21. We have, I believe now, 7 laps to go. We do indeed have 7 laps to go. And Squeezy still leading. Poe in second, Blizzard in third. 2 tyre compounds involved with this one. As we're riding on board with Poe then. Blizzard still trying to close the gap. We've still got Poe closing in on Squeezy. With those ultra soft tyres helping him. Well, Squeezy and Poe have got to watch out for their tyres. They can attack as much as they like, but they've got to keep on it. Got to keep their tyres managed. Poe then still chasing down Squeezy. He wants this race win. It would be his 3rd race win of the season. For Squeezy, it would be his 2nd. And Blizzard here in 3rd place. Well, if I remember rightly, his domination could continue. It would be his 7th win of the season if he could get it. But he faces a tough task, because Squeezy and Poe are on those ultra softs, and they'll want to try and keep them in good shape. So maybe it's a case of just turning down the engine a little bit, reducing that wheel spin if they can. Squeezy then making his way through 15, then through 16. As they'll make their way towards 17 and 18 to start lap 22 of this Grand Prix. And Squeezy in the lead. He really wants the 2nd race win of the season. He's been very consistent throughout the field, especially this season. It's exactly what he needed. And Squeezy then making his way through turn 1 for the 22nd time. We have 6 laps to go. And you can see Blizzard with the DRS then, even on the soft tyres, is still able to keep up with Squeezy and Poe. Incredible pace from Blizzard so far. Maybe he might not be on the tyres he wants to be right now. However, he's still keeping up with these guys. And you can see there, Poe, that yellow fuel indicator on the right-hand side. It means, at the current pace, he won't make it to the end with enough fuel. So he's got to do some fuel saving. Squeezy leading the way has no such problem, as he can just keep on going. And Blizzard exactly the same as well. So Poe here will have to do some fuel saving. He's really attacking and hoping he can get in front and just extend the lead so that he can fuel save. Maybe a bit of lift and coasting might be in order towards the end of this race. But right now he's pushing as hard as he possibly can. And Squeezy leading the way, then 7/10 of a second separates himself and Poe leading the way as we head down towards turn 13. Then we're heading through 14, riding on board with Poe then as we head through turn 14, making our way towards turn 16 and then through 17. Blizzard still there, right behind them. And on those soft tyres, he's starting to come back into this one, because the percentage of wear will start to equal out at this point, with the ultra softs then overtaking that percentage. So they'll feel a lot worse, they'll slide around a lot more. So Blizzard could actually find a way back into this race towards the end of it. We've got Sean there, watch out for him. 4/10 behind Alan Kay, as Alan Kay runs a little bit wide there as we head towards turn 10. Just jump on board with Poe then as he defended the inside line, turns in and defends from Blizzard then as we head towards turn 3, I should say. And again, Blizzard just not taking the ideal line going through turn 3, and it's going to cost him a couple of tenths. And there is Alan Kay battling away with Sean then as we're heading through turn 14. A little bit of contact there, and Alan Kay has to back out of the move then. So Poe now under pressure from Blizzard as we head through turn 6. That's what Squeezy wants, for those two behind to be battling him. Ideally he'd want Blizzard to finish 3rd, but Blizzard is not going to do that. We know he loves to win. As we head now into the 2nd DRS zone through turn 11. We're going to go then through turn 12. We've got yellow flags in sector 2, as that is just Steph letting cars through. But Sean still ahead of Alan Kay then as they make their way through turn 3. And Alan Kay looking for a move then, trying to keep those ultra soft tyres in check, whilst also trying to find a way past Sean. Not the easiest thing to do in the world. But now he's heading towards turn 5. And again, turn 5, not really an overtaking opportunity. Neither is turn 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. Because you've got the DRS zone straight after it. But here comes Blizzard then with the DRS in the slipstream. Opens the DRS then and tries to move to the right hand side. But then goes straight into the back of Poe. Well, he makes his way down towards turn 2. Has he got the braking zone right? Locks up a little bit. But gets P2 then. Loses that back end just slightly. And it's going to allow Poe to try and find a way through again. He'll pull to the right hand side as we make our way through turn 3. Now coming down towards turn 4. Tries to go up the inside. Blizzard had the corner covered and was able to defend. Meanwhile, Squeezy has got out of DRS range of Blizzard and Poe. That's how Blizzard was able to find their way past. Poe dropped out of that DRS detection range. And so Blizzard was able to overtake with the DRS. But now Poe has to try and keep his cool. Keep the pressure down. We have 4 laps to go. 3.5 if you're picky. And now we've got Squeezy making his way through turn 12, now coming towards turn 13. But you can see there Blizzard and Poe battling away for position. Even with Poe having the DRS open, it's not quite enough to close in on Blizzard. Look at the braking as well from Poe, able to brake much later than Blizzard is on those ultra soft tyres. But you can see Blizzard here, 1.2 is now the gap between himself and Squeezy, but Poe is 6/10 back. So he's still within DRS range, which is exactly what Poe needs right now. This is the point in the race where the soft tyres are going to become the better tyres. So Blizzard's able to hold out and keep pushing. So it's been great so far. But Poe here will have the DRS, but it looks a little far back for me, even to try and get some sort of advantage. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. And Blizzard here, well, we know he's quick. We have 3 laps to go here at the Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. And those soft tyres have worked on wonders for Blizzard. I questioned their strategy at the start of this race. I thought, that's a bit early. But obviously, the simulations have been in play. And they seem to have worked. So Blizzard, that's why he's gone on to these tyres. Of course, the simulations, when you do it in Grand Prix mode, well, they don't quite take into account of battling. But I tell you what, he's done a great job so far, Blizzard. P2 right now. He's 1.3 behind Squeezy. And Poe is not going to let him get away that easily. Lambo, though, P4. Again, 3.7 behind. He's not been able to keep on the pace as much as he'd like. Spike, then, in 5th place. Never really set those Hypersofts upright. And he fell into the same trap that I used to do in League Racing. Yes, you can go onto the fastest tyre at the end of the race. You can go on the slower tyre to start and then go onto the fastest tyre at the end. But with those fastest tyres, you've got to keep the temperatures under control. And if you don't, you're going to pay for it with slower lap times. Well, Squeezy then comes around the final corner to start the penultimate lap of this race then. Blizzard in 2nd, just outside of DRS range, I do believe. Well, he's not. No, he has the DRS then. So he'll be able to try and close in on Squeezy then. So this battle is far from over. In fact, I think it's only just starting here, as Blizzard now finds himself 8/10 behind Squeezy. And Sean picks up a 3-second time penalty as they make their way through turn 3. This is a great camera angle. Look at this from the helicopter cam. Go watch that Formula 1 video of the helicopter camera. Talking to him about how they get the shots and how everything works. It's a fascinating video, and it really puts a perspective onto these helicopter shots here. Poe then 5/10 down on Blizzard, still hasn't let him get away. And look at that, the indicator is flashing on and off and on and off. So it means that Poe is right on the bubble in terms of fuel. He should be able to make it to the end with that fuel then, but only just. And Squeezy then has done a good job at managing everything. Steph there, 1:33.030. Sets the fastest lap of the race then. As we've got yellow flags in Sector 1. That might be Steph pulling over to one side. As we can see here, through the final couple of quarters. Heading through turn 14 now as we head towards turn 15. And then through turn 16 here. Blizzard is only 4/10 down. And you can see the balance of momentum has definitely shifted. These ultra soft tyres are coming towards the end of their life. The soft tyres are the better tyres to be on at this moment in time. They're going to provide more grip. But Squeezy then starts the final lap of the race in the lead. And can he hold on to it? Blizzard is 4/10 back then. He will have the DRS. Knowing Blizzard, he might go for a move here. And Squeeze is defending the inside line. He comes back onto the racing line, which he's allowed to do. That's in the regulations as we head through turn 2. Now coming towards turn 3. And you can see there, Blizzard has much more grip. And he's got the slipstream too. He might have the dirty air. Is he going to try and move down the inside into turn 4? No, he doesn't. But he's right on the rear wing and right on the gearbox of Squeezy as we head towards turn 5. Trying to put Squeezy under so much pressure. Blizzard knows he's got multiple penalties that will be added on to the end of the race. So he's got to try and pull out a gap to Poe. And he's also going to try and overtake Squeezy. So he's caught here. But as we head through turns 8 and turn 9, we got the yellow flags in sector 3 now. And Blizzard here making his way through turn 10. This could be last chance saloon here. He's got the DRS zone. And maybe this is what he was waiting for. Squeezy here tries to defend us all he can. As Blizzard goes to the left-hand side as we make our way down towards turn 13. And Blizzard has the outside line. Squeezy goes through on the outside. Slams the door shut. There was a little bit of contact there. Couldn't quite see fully what happened. But we make our way towards 15 and then through 16. And you can see there Squeezy just trying to park it on the apex. He's trying to out Gilles Villeneuve Blizzard here. But Squeezy making his way around the final corner. He's making his way around turn 18 now. Has he done enough? Oh, there's contact! Blizzard's around! Squeezy's around! How on earth did that happen? But I think Blizzard tapped the back of Squeezy there, which sent him spinning. And then Blizzard, well, out of respect, slowed all the way up. So Squeezy then is going to take his second race win of the season. And only just. And Blizzard there in second, Poe in third, Lambo finishing in fourth, with Spike coming across the line in fifth then, and Siege making his way around the final corner. He's going to come across the line and he'll finish in sixth place then. Maze 25 seconds back from Siege then on those Hypersoft tyres. It's made them last 10 laps. The yellow flags in sector 1 will be the AI controlled cars, so nothing to worry about then. And you can see Sean in the distance then. Well, Maze will come across the line. He'll get yet another points finish. That'll help him throughout the season then. Comes across the line, 7th place for Maze. Sean comes across the line. He'll finish in 8th place. Alan Kay will come across the line. He'll finish in 8th. He actually jumped Sean there. And then Plaster making his way around then. Steph coming across the line. He finishes a lap down in 11th place. And Plaster, if he can make it to the line, will be picking up the final point of the Russian Grand Prix as the clouds loom over. Well, that was a crazy end, that's for sure. Definitely a crazy end as Blizzard tapped the back of Squeezy then. But Squeezy then, at the Russian Grand Prix, takes his second win of the season. Well, he'll be delighted with that. He worked hard for that one. Strategy was pretty much matched in the end. Those soft eyes came alive at the end. Well, that doesn't matter to him. Squeezy with his second win of the season and your winner of the Russian Grand Prix. So then we wait for the official, unofficial results, which will come any point now. And there they are. Squeezy then taking his race win. Blizzard in second with Poe in third. Lambo in fourth with Spike in fifth. Siege in sixth. Maze in seventh. Alan K 8th. Sean in ninth. And Plaster taking the final point there. Steph finishing a lap down on the leaders, with Francis and Ollie not making it to the checkered flag. Well, those are your official, unofficial results then, with Squeezy getting the full 25 points. So that gap at the top then comes down to 85 points, with 125 points left to score this season. It may not be much, but Squeezy has reduced the gap at the top of the table. Well, that was definitely an exciting end. Two strategies going head to head. And, oh, by the way, Steph did get the A logo fastest lap of the race with that 1:33 there. So that is an award he'll be taking away with him. But we'll see how many drivers we can get for Commentator's Corner. Then, of course, that is in a separate stream. And don't forget to subscribe to TTTV. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit the bell as well to make sure you're notified every time we go live, because, of course, multiple series run across this channel. Well, that was the Russian Grand Prix, and we're going to give it a couple of minutes and see who will be joining us in the box for it. Oh, wow. Great racing. I don't know, we might have to have a closer look at the end of that race. So, we'll see what happens after that. But, yeah, close battling. Hard battling as well. So, yeah, we've got ourselves a championship fight here. Okay, the gap is 85 points, but I'll tell you what, Squeezy's not going to give up. That is for sure. But taking that race win again away from Blizzard will be a stepping stone, if you like, to getting back on track. But with 125 points left to score in the season, it's just going to get tougher and tougher. But anyway, that'll do it for the stream side, the race side. And we'll be Commentator's Corner very, very shortly. Don't go away.